Hello and welcome to the Falcon Paladin Hour. We're back, baby. It's been a while, but we're back.
It's been a while, and we're back, and it's good to be back.
It's good to be back. Who knows if we'll be here next week?
I know
because
that's the fun.
yeah, the wild situation of why we've been gone is not yet resolved. But basically, the TLDR is my housemate was like, "We're moving, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're moving." And they're like, he says the real estate's like, "Hey, let's put your rent up." And we're like, "We don't want to pay that, so we're gonna try and find a place." We haven't found a place. He comes to me and he goes, "All right, I told them we'll be out by the 11th." I'm like, "The 11th? That's in like 2 weeks." So I immediately go into full panic because we do not have a place to move to. I will be homeless in 2 weeks. The 11th is in 3 days, by the way.
Wow, this is going great.
And then a couple days ago, I'm like getting my brother to help me move some of my stuff out because I'm like, we've got like 1 weekend to like find a place and move stuff. We're not gonna get everything moved out, let alone have a place. Oh, let's move some stuff. And he's asking me, "Oh, what were you doing today?" Because he was asleep by the time I got home after work. I'm like, "Oh, I was just moving some guitars and stuff to my mother's storage." And he goes, "Oh, that's a bit early." I'm like, "What do you mean? We got to leave by this weekend." And he's like, No, the 11th of April. I'm like, "Okay, so we got another 4 weeks."
Oh, okay.
So
that's nice. That's less terrifying then. Hooray!
Less terrifying. But I might still be busy, trying to get a place.
Well, I mean, yeah, it sucks. I think we talked about it in Discord. Trying to find a new place really sucks, but it's not as bad as job hunting.
Yeah,
that was where we put it on the list. It's like it's in the top tier of suck.
Right. I've
like,
never
worse.
Job hunted.
Well, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, because I basically after high school spent 6 months playing video games, and then somebody said, "Do you want a job?" Oh, it was great. Yeah. It was video games, and I think it was Wednesday nights out to the pub with mates. It was great. Which my dad paid for because I had no money because I wasn't working. Basically, someone said, "Hey, do you want a job? Do you want an apprenticeship as a baker?" And I said, "Sure, that sounds fine." And then I've been doing that for 11 years.
Okay, so you're like the anti-JLC. Holy cow.
Yeah.
You've had one job your entire adult life, and JLC's had about 47, so...
I've had 2 jobs.
Big differences. Yeah, all right, fair.
I had a job when I was in high school before I moved at a liquor store. So I was 15, 16, working at a liquor store, yeah.
It's very Australia. I like it. Good story.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened to that job? You didn't parlay it into like a career?
No, so it was a liquor store and a convenience store, 2 in one, right? Because typically here, a convenience store like a 7-Eleven doesn't have any alcohol in it, right? I know in some places you might be able to, in America, you can buy beer at a gas station or whatever, like a convenience store. That's not the case here. So the fact that this was a bottler and a convenience store, they were able to hire me after school because I lived like down the street, like 2 minutes walk. So after school, I would go and supposedly I would be serving customers on the grocery sides and stacking their shelves. But what I was doing was a lot of shifting beer in and out of cool rooms and onto shelves and helping the like 80-year-old owner lock up. I didn't transition that into a career because it was a like a strip mall, so it was like a run of 6 shops.
Yeah.
And the fish and chip shop, 3 or 4 shops down, did an insurance job and burnt down his shop, which spread.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So then he went to prison forever.
I think so.
Yep.
And I was out of a job.
What kind of... Like, going for an insurance job and trying to burn down your place is stupid anyway, but like, in a strip mall, what do you think is going to happen, you idiot? Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, that is why I did not continue that career path.
Tracks. That makes a lot of sense. All right, cool. Cool. Yeah. So Samicron is blazing hot right now, and I am freezing to death because that's how things are. It is currently right at freezing right here, 33 Fahrenheit, which is like 1 Celsius.
Yeah. It's 30 Celsius and 86 Fahrenheit.
Roasty toasty.
Yeah, I got the aircon going though. It's great.
Sounds wonderful. So yeah, so feasibly it's supposed to cool down for you and start warming up for me around, I don't know, March. But not this time.
Nope. Not this much.
Not this time around the sun. No.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I did have to shovel my driveway yesterday, which not as bad as that one time that it dumped 1 billion feet of snow all at once. So it's been kinder to me with the snow since that day, because that sucked. This is more like just, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches instead of like.
Did you get the kiddos to help on a little pocket money?
No. No. The problem is they just got paid for grades, and so they don't care.
They've got money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. It's funny because my oldest, he's going to start driving next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I might get a car for you to drive. It'd be good to have 2 cars at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, okay. So it's probably going to be like a junker car. I'm like, maybe I can save up money so we can get a nicer one. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could put some money towards the second car that will not be yours, mind you, but it will be a car you can drive with my permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I understand, your primary car is not exactly a particularly flash or new model of car. It's not like it falling apart like a junker, but it's not anything special. And so,
No. It's a
no?
2006 Corolla. I mean,
yeah, okay, so it's borderline junker.
Sure.
I mean, it's not. I wouldn't, if I had a 14-year-old kid and I was like, hey, I want to drive a car. The 2006 Corolla would be the car I say you can drive.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, but I like my car.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that.
And plus, I don't know. I don't want to teach him how to drive a stick on my car.
You don't want to burn out the clutch
transmission.
How much is it a hatch or a sedan?
Sedan.
Okay. I don't know. For some reason, I pictured you with a hatchback.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Nope. How much are those in Australia right now? $2,600. That is a very cheap car.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, between you and me, I'm looking at getting a maybe 2017 car, maybe 2016.
Oh, wow. It'll have newish safety features. That's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not telling him that, though.
So. No. Actually, hold on. The price range on that was wrong.
Oh.
It was like, there are sometimes between this price and this price. I took the cheapest, but I'm looking at the actual listings. It's more like 8. I saw one there for 6.5.
It's so ridiculous. Car prices have gone insane. I hate it.
Here's one for $14,000.
A 2006 Corolla for $14,000
with 84,000 Ks on it.
Oh my gosh! It's the chip shortage. The chip shortage for the newer cars delayed production of new cars, and so that made people who were going to get new cars get used cars and drive up the demand for used cars. It's stupid. That's insane.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I'm not buying a car now. I'm just thinking about it. And I hope it calms down in the next, I don't know, year or so. That'd be great. But I don't, maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to have to, man, I think I paid 6, maybe like 7,000 for this 06 Corolla in 2016. So for somebody to sell it for teens of thousands of dollars now is nuts. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, it's 14,000 a year, like Australian dollars to what's that to USD? So that's 9,200.
Still,
not $9,000
more than I paid for it.
Right? Yeah. And I saw the pictures. It's got scratches and stuff on it. Like, it did not appreciate in value, buddy.
It's a 17-year-old car, of course.
Tell him he's dreaming.
Yes. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. All right. Anyway, it's enough about that. Mm-hmm. What do we want to go into next? Want to do Buddy Daddies?
Sure. I have not watched the most recent episode because when I saw
Guess
it
what?
as listed as 8.5, I assumed it was like a wrap-up episode. Be like, here's what's happened so far, and I skipped
Bingo.
it. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. I was like, ooh, new episode. And I pulled it up and I was like, wait. There's
Wait a
narration. Wait. What's going on here? Yeah. So it was a recap episode, which is like,
yeah.
But are we? So we're 2 behind then.
We're 2 behind? Why would we be 2 behind?
Didn't we miss 2 weeks?
Yes. Okay. So you're talking about the podcast, not the show. Yeah. So we've definitely got 2 weeks worth of stuff. Let me pull up the episode list.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about After Rain Comes Fair Weather and Nothing Seek, Nothing Find, which is an amazing translation. Like, I don't know what they're going for on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like if you don't look, you won't find, right? Or like you miss every shot you don't take.
Yeah. Really bad English there.
Yeah. So after rain comes fair weather, which, I mean, is that true? Do you think after it rains, it's always nice weather?
I think eventually, sure. It doesn't say the time frame.
That's true. Yeah. It's like
3 weeks later, it's pleasant.
That's like if you do a rain dance for 6 months straight, eventually it'll work.
Yeah. Bingo. I think that's what they're going for there. So Excellent. Is that the episode where we kind of learn Kazuki's backstory with what happened to
his dad? And he's like... Kazuki. No, I'm thinking of Ray. Kazuki... Yes, I believe Kazuki in this one is the one where he like gets his fiance killed.
Yeah.
And then his sister-in-law is like, stop beating yourself up, you piece of trash, lying in the gutter. And
knock it off, dummy.
Like, was instantly like best girl, and then leaves the show with no explanation. It's great.
Yeah, she was pretty awesome. Because like, I don't know, she's a really nice person. Like, I think eventually I'd be like, this jerkwad won't even talk to me about this. He keeps thinking he can buy me off by sending me cash that I'm not accepting. Screw him. But she's like, nah, gotta fix him. It's great.
Yeah, no. It was great. It also has a really good B-side story where Ray has to like look after a sick Miri, and it's like, oh my god, he's finally able to like pull his weight some of the time.
Oh, it was incredibly heartwarming.
Yes. Especially when he like busts into the cafe with Q-Chan and like Miri's in his arm and he's like, I don't know what to do. Just help me, please. Yeah. My heartstrings.
It was. And then Kazuki finally comes home and he's like, where are they? And he finds Ray like sleeping.
Holding her hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just, and he got her medicine and everything. And he's like, oh, we got to have some Tylenol or something around. He's like, all we have is adult Tylenol. What is wrong with us? It's a fair question, honestly. You have a child in the house. Get some medicine for kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not something they would have thought of until it comes up. I can kind of get it.
Apparently not. Yeah, they didn't. But I don't know. They didn't have the experience of having this child from
birth.
Day one.
Yeah.
It kind of started at year 4, which kind of comes out of nowhere. Anyway, yeah, so that was nice. It was nice to see Ray be able to step up. Because, you know, for the first few episodes, you're kind of like, is he capable of taking care of himself, let alone another person?
The answer, kind of no.
The answer is kind of no.
He steps up, but then they immediately give us his backstory in the next episode. you know, nothing seek, nothing find, and where he literally was just like a shut-in NEET who ordered Uber Eats every day and like slept in the bathtub and was surrounded by trash.
Like hoarders levels of trash. Like not just trash. Like the floor was covered in garbage.
Yeah. In a really nice place. So I'm like, does his parents, or does his dad just own the place and lets him live there rent-free?
Must be.
But it's like, that's a nice place, and he just filled it with garbage.
Yeah. And then so I don't know. I mean, get into the second episode. So Kazuki is depressed because he indirectly kind of led to the death of his fiance. Which I don't know. Like, I get kind of beating yourself up about that, but like
I mean, that's the thing about tragedies, is the people who survive them always blame themselves, and it's never really their fault, but that's the kind of thing. Like, there's a lot of historical evidence for people blaming themselves for things they can't control.
Yeah, like survivor's guilt. Like, you're in a plane crash and you survive, but like 40 people die and you feel guilt.
Sure, yeah. You just even all the way back to Lionel Johnson, the English poet, who was a devout Catholic but blamed himself for being gay and like thought it was a sinner. It's like, you can't help that. It's not your fault. You don't like it's. I'm just saying, there's a long history of people blaming themselves for things, and it makes sense here. Like, he should get over it. Like, he should absolutely work on that to forgive himself. But it works. It's a great narrative beat, I think.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it gives him some depth for sure of character, so that's nice.
Yeah,
and it was nice of him that he finally just like storms out. He's just like, all right, look, I'm tired of playing mom to both of you. Like, I'm out. Can't do this anymore. Bye. Like, yeah, I get that. That's fair.
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely. And everyone's seen that.
Yeah. I think everybody can relate on some level that way, or they've seen it happen.
Yep.
And then the next episode, we find out that Kazuki and Rei are both like depressed, lost souls living together in this apartment and just like not taking care of anything. And and then Rei's like, and then one day you just started cleaning, and it's like, I wonder what the impetus for that was. Like, it just got to a point where Kazuki's like, I can't live like this anymore.
Right? Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
He is absolutely the go-getter in that relationship.
Up, and he like forces Rei to bathe and cuts his hair, and Rei's like, I thought about telling you to back off, but like,
fine, it's kind of nice. The weird thing about that is Rei arguably has the hottest haircut known to anime. When he's in like his suit and he's like ready to go to work, and it's tied back with shaved sides, it is like, you mean to tell me that this dude just walked into your life one day and cut your hair like that? Really? I don't know. Not buying
Have you seen how Kazuki can cook? He's got some skills.
Yeah,
he's an elite level chef. I have no problem believing he's an elite level hair guy too.
I don't want Gordon Ramsay cutting my hair.
Fair. It's a fair point. Yeah, everything, whatever Kazuki cooks, I'm like, man, that looks good. I don't know what half of it is, but that looks pretty delicious.
Food in anime always looks great.
Like, what's on the pizza? Like, what do Japanese people put on their pizza? But it looked like it was like pepperoni, so I was okay with it.
Fair enough. I'm glad you would eat that pizza.
Yeah. I don't know. I was expecting to see like eggs and like
eggs.
Parsley.
Just like raw eggs.
No.
Like fried?
Yeah, like fried eggs on it.
I've seen on a pizza
do that before.
Yeah, I don't know. We have that here. Don't get me wrong. I don't order it myself, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems to be popular in everywhere but America, and I guess Italy. Italy's on into it because they do their own thing. But
have you tried it?
No, I haven't tried it. I shouldn't.
Just give it a go.
I shouldn't be so harsh on it if I haven't tried it before. I don't know if I can even get it. I have to make my own. Like, order a pizza and then just like
crack an egg on it.
On there. Yeah. Well, that reminds me today.
Yeah.
Just a quick aside. I tried to order a pizza from Pizza Hut today. And they have these like rewards points, right? Like everybody does.
Yeah, of course.
And so I used my reward points to get a pizza. And then I went to check out, and it's like, you got to have something in your cart to check out. And I was like, but there's a pizza right there. And I was like, no, you got to have something. And I'm like, I don't. What?
But I have pizza.
So I removed it. From the cart and tried to re-add it, and same problem. And I'm like, what? So now when I go to the website, it says I have a pizza being redeemed in process. I don't know what that means. My cart is empty.
Interesting.
I still have my points. It didn't take them from me. I don't know what to do.
Can you use these points in store or over the phone?
I might have to try that.
Yeah. I mean, I hate that that's what it's resolved to, because I don't ever want to have to call or go to a pizza place. Right? That's like the value of a pizza is that there's no interaction with people, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and this is the Pizza Hut too. I told you this. Did I tell you this story from like 6 months ago where I went to a football game with my brothers? So I left the kids at home.
Yeah.
And I ordered them like a family box pizza.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm driving down and I told them when the pizza was supposed to get there. And the kids start texting like, it's not here yet. And I'm like, that's weird. They're usually pretty punctual. Like they're on time when they say it's going to be there. And I checked and I set it to pick up instead of delivery by accident.
No. Oh, no.
So I called that Pizza Hut 27 times. And you know what happened every time? It rang and 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 it rang. And then it hung up on me.
Wow.
So I'd call back and it rang 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 and it hung up on me. And I was like, how is this your phone system? Like, it's a Friday night. I get it. You are slammed with orders right now. And you probably don't have time to answer the phone. But like, how was there not leave a message or something?
Right. I mean, that's wild to me because before like pre-internet ordering, you would call to order a pizza. Like, how do they not have someone there to what is arguably historically the primary way to order a pizza? Like, you need someone there taking calls.
I know. So I finally put a new order through the website for delivery of the same thing, just paid twice for the same thing. Got that delivered. The kids got their food. And then like 2 hours later, the Pizza Hut called and said, hey, you didn't come and pick up your pizza. And I'm like, you assholes. I tried calling you for an hour.
You should have made them call you 27 times. Just don't pick up. Let them call back 27 times.
I should have. So that's my problem is these are the same people who I'd have to talk to get this rewards things resolved. And I'm not feeling confident about that process.
Right. Is there no other like Pizza Hut that you could go to? Like, you just couldn't go to a different store? It'd be like a slightly longer pickup trip, but you know.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Let me sign in. Stupid website. Also, their website sucks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I am, without a doubt, ordering a pizza after this podcast.
Yeah, good luck. I hope you have better luck than I do. Yeah. And so what I'm wondering partly here is it mad because it's entirely a free pizza? And it doesn't recognize a cart that only contains free items in it? And then if I threw a breadstick in there or something, it'd be like, oh, yeah, we're good.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe they're just like, well, if you want to check out, you actually have to pay for something with it. You can't just have a free pizza.
But I swear I've done this before. I think I did this with my points like a few months ago, and it was fine.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. That's what I'm going to go with. Apparently not.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I know. I'm not expecting you to have answers. I'm just ranting right now. Yeah. So if I go to rewards, it says rewards in progress. Your pizza. Great. What now? I don't know what to do. It sucks. It's so stupid. Yeah. What if I change stores?
Oh, yeah. Give that a go.
This one. Yeah. I'm going to try this store. Yeah. Oh, and also it's not loading the top bar with like the cart and stuff.
Oh, man.
That's cool. This website, honestly. Nope. Still says rewards in progress. Okay, well, maybe I'll give this store a call tomorrow and see what they say.
Fair enough.
Anyway, yeah. Pizza, Buddy Daddies. That was also a metric ton of food for 2 adult men and a 4-year-old.
Yes, it was. They could be following the trope of like people in anime can just pack away food like there's no tomorrow.
Right.
Really Goku it up, where it's just like bowls and bowls and bowls and bowls constantly being piled behind them, as you know, they eat literally metric tons. Or we can assume that this is just a family of people that are going to put a lot of it away and have it for leftovers for a couple of days.
Yeah, they're gonna eat it for a month, right?
Yeah. Well, you know,
probably.
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe longer than I'm thinking because they don't need to pack Miri-chan a school lunch. You know, there's lunch provided, so they're getting through that even slower than I'm thinking.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of that's gonna go bad. That's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, heartwarming at the end though, where like Miri tries to stay up for Papa Ray to come home, but she falls asleep.
So cute. Yeah. I remember being a child trying to stay awake until people came home and falling asleep on the couch.
Tough. It's a tough go when you're 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she wakes up to sing "Happy Birthday" in English, mind you.
Yep.
That's what the world does, I guess.
That's what Japan does.
Japan does anyway.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so famously, the Happy Birthday song in Australia, like West media, is blocked by copyright law. Like you have to pay a ton to get the license for it. I wonder if that applies in Japan. You know?
Yeah, American copyright is just like, hey, stop it. And Japan's like, screw you guys.
Come over here and take it. Like,
yeah,
make
us pay you. Nah, very true. Yeah, that would explain it, I guess.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah. And then Ray actually smiles. He's actually touched by this whole thing.
Yeah.
He didn't know it was his birthday, did he? He comes in, he's like, oh, that's today? Huh.
Yeah, he seems like a person who doesn't bother keeping track of when that is.
Yeah, that's brutal. like, how sad of a human do you have to be to not know when your own birthday is?
Well,
pretty sad.
Pretty sad, but it's also entirely feasible that, given the environment he grew up in, his parents never told him when his birthday was. Like, it wasn't. He might literally not know when specifically it actually legitimately is, and they've just picked a day.
Oh, that's even sadder.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. That's a terrible theory. Take it back. Oh, yeah, that's horrible. I do like that Kazuki's like, we didn't have to get him out of the house. He just left. That was great.
How convenient.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to talk to his dad. Crap. Maybe he's not coming back. That's not good for us.
Yeah. Oh, crap.
Yeah. And so now they've established that Ray's big bad Assassin's League dad is like, Ray is distracted by his roommate and this random child that they have now. What the crap is going on?
Yeah. And big bad actual like dead inside assassin is now involved and is going to be targeting either Kazuki or Miri or both, one or the other.
Yeah. I mean, I'm mostly worried about Miri because like Kazuki can protect himself and she can't because she's 4.
She would also be Miri would be like, you can't point guns at people. That's rude, right? You have to beep for the food. She would involve herself in that situation and get herself killed.
Yes. Exactly. Although this is not the kind of show that has the adorable 4-year-old main character get brutally gunned down by assassins, so I think she's probably fine.
I would hope so.
Do you think this is the kind of show that would do that?
I don't know. Because it's an anime original, right? I give it the chance that it could.
Holy crap. Has there ever been a show that's done anything like that before?
Okay, so there's a show. Oh crap! What was it called? It's a music anime. And it was originally a manga, and in the manga, the lead singer is running to like a show that she's late for or something because of plot, and gets hit by a truck and dies.
Does she get isekai'd?
Maybe, but not in the manga. The manga ends. Like that's it.
That's it. Holy smokes, that's awesome. Okay.
The show has her saved at the last minute. Like she lives in the anime. And I mean it fits much better with like the tone of the anime because it's a very heartwarming show.
Yeah.
And I really liked the show and I thought it was a good music anime.
Okay.
But like I kind of want that ending where it's like, oh, she was running across the street because she's late to a thing and dies. that's a little visceral on its own, right? And like that's a different flavor of show, and I don't know where this is going. Like this show's already been like, yeah, we'll straight up kill people in front of this 4-year-old. Why wouldn't we kill a 4-year-old?
That's the thing. That's the thing. The show really straddles the line between like heartwarming slice of life 4-year-old in daycare anime and like assassin murderous, we're going to show you dead bodies. Like in this last episode, this shows us what's his face's dead fiance or whoever she is. It's like, okay,
oh yeah,
we're just going there. So yeah, the show is totally willing to be super dark and violent, but juxtapose it with this, we're making a birthday cake for our dad. Like,
yeah,
I just don't know. Okay, thinking about this,
yeah,
I don't know. I'd be really split if they were like, and then Miri died because this assassin's group is too strong, and Rei and Kazuki tried to protect her and they failed. Thanks for coming. There's our show. Goodbye. I'd be like, all right. First of all, screw you guys for killing Miri. That sucks. But also, holy crap, you have balls. Like, that is one of the most amazing ends I've ever seen to anything in my whole life, you know?
I put it at a lower chance of them actually killing Miri, maiming her slightly higher.
Ooh, like taking a leg?
Yeah, or maybe just like a really bad scar somewhere.
Ooh, the badass scar across her eye. That would be
sweet. Killing Rei or Kazuki, significantly higher. I think there's a legitimate chance that one of them might get out of that. Might not get out of that.
Dude, Rei dying to protect Miri is like the most telegraphed idea in all of history. I hope they don't do that. That's like every story ever. Yeah, right? Because he's like, I don't have a purpose in life. I was made to be a killing machine. I don't know what else to do. And then he finds purpose in protecting Miri, this thing he found value in protecting, and dies doing it. Like, come on. Come on. That's like, there's a trope for that somewhere in.
Oh, for sure.
Tropes for sure.
For sure. But I mean, okay.
No, you're right, though. It's pretty likely.
Oh, man. Imagine if creepy Mr. I Like Final Words guy flips Rei at the very end. He's like, look, you can't fight your dad and the rest of the organization. Join with me. And Rei has to like put down Miri at the end. Like, and Kazuki.
Okay, that's worse. Rei doing it is way worse.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that would, I don't know. Is there another anime that is that dark of an ending?
So Berserk is pretty dark.
Okay.
It's like, I'll try to do this as like least spoilery as possible, but there's actually 3 movies that they made that you can watch to catch up on this called the Golden Age arc, I think it is. And basically the story starts that Guts, who's the main character, Griffith is another character, and then there's the girl. I can't remember what the girl's name is. But basically, Guts is like a mercenary hired by Griffith and his warband to, like, you know, fight for kings or whatever. But Griffith is actually part of, like, this big prophecy to, like, raise a new dark god and ends up getting kidnapped, tortured basically to death. Like, his tendons are all sliced so he can barely move himself. His tongue's cut out. He can't talk. His head has been encased in his helmet. Like, he can't take it off. And through some, like, circumstances, he ends up in the place because it's a prophecy of how he would transform into like a demon god. But he's had this, you know, giant arc of relationship with the 2 other characters, and he ends up killing his own, like sacrificing his own mercenary warband to like for their souls to empower himself. Branding Guts, cutting his arm off, raping his girlfriend. Right, and it's like this huge twist that, like, after a couple of years of torture, he's like now the villain, right? And then that's where what most people think of as Berserk actually really kind of starts, where Guts is like this on the run, demon hunter kind of character. I haven't actually read it or watched it myself because it's supposed to be really good, but also incredibly long and just a little edgy for me, you know?
Yeah.
But there is precedent that there are shows that'll just be like, oh, this you weren't expecting this one character who was like best friends with this guy to now be like raping his girlfriend. Here you go. You know.
Yeah. I just think when you bring children into it, it adds another level of dark, you know?
Or like Full Metal Brotherhood Alchemist, where it's like, hey, I make chimeras. Yeah. It's like,
okay, that's a pretty good one, Edward. Yeah. I don't think you had to explain that one. Like, okay, so there's this thing, and there's an alchemist, and there's a dog. It's like, no, that's pretty instant recognizable on the internet.
That one's huge. I mean, the Berserk one is also equally as recognizable. I explained it for your benefit. If you said Griffith did nothing wrong, it's like a huge meme for a lot of people.
Okay. That's fair. Fair. Anyway, I don't know. And like you said, the fact that it's an original thing, it's not based on a manga.
Mm-hmm.
They're just telling their own story here. What story are they telling?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if this was 99% slice of life, we've got a 4-year-old now, let's take her on field trips.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, okay, that's what the show is.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's enough percentage here of assassin's life and showing people getting gunned down and death and blood and
fiancés being incinerated, and
yeah,
that there's a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance that they go there.
I think if I had to make a prediction, Miri lives, Ray lives, Kazuki lives. They managed to escape the mafia.
Premier Assassins League in all of Japan.
Yeah, well, maybe
they're
they killed
not mafia. They're just assassins.
Well, they're assassins that work for the mafia. Like, they work for some sort of an organization, right? Which we're going to refer to as the mafia.
Yeah,
that's what a criminal organization is.
Okay.
But okay, so like maybe they kill Mr. Last Words, right? And they get away. But I think the final beat of the show is Miri has lost her pure innocence, happy at everything attitude, and is now violently awoken to what it is that they really do. And it is a not a very satisfying ending in terms of let's be a happy, positive, upbeat show. But Miri is now like training to also be an assassin, and now they're going freelance, right?
Yeah, and that's been done a bunch, but that would be
sure.
That would be definitely a darker end than a
that
lot
is.
Of other options.
Weirdly enough, I like that kind of stuff for some reason.
No, for sure.
Guy with all the grim dark Warhammer stuff.
Yeah. So kind of like Last of Us, where you've got this character Ellie, who's like 14. Yeah, she's grown up in a zombie pandemic, epidemic, post-apocalyptic world, but she hasn't really seen terrible things. And then over the course of the first game, she just like, yep, tons of bad things happen, and by golly, they do affect her a lot, and she learns how to kill, and it's just like, Can
I go back to Pizza Hut for a second?
Go ahead.
Since when did Pizza Hut do mac and cheese?
They don't here. I don't know.
Since
when do they do it in Australia? They do weird stuff in other countries.
Because I'm looking at Pizza Hut's website, and the first thing on their like menu is not pizza. It's $1 wings. Like, you can get wings, then it's pizza, then it's kids meals, and then it's Unreal, whatever that is. All right, when
Unreal? I click on Unreal,
it's just drinks. It's just, do you want to buy a Monster for $5.50? Like,
that's incredibly stupid.
Or a Sprite or a Coke. I don't get it. And then they have pasta, and they have mac and cheese that's like loaded with like chicken or beef or buffalo chicken or roast chicken or barbecue beef, but it's got tomato barbecue sauce drizzled on top, or creamy prawn Alfredo pasta. Like, since when?
Well, Pizza Hut's had like chicken Alfredo pasta in the US for a long time now.
Okay.
And I guess I'm looking at them now. They've got a veggie pasta, which I think seems new. But so the concept of pasta being available, I think Domino's did it first, and Pizza Hut was like, oh, that was a good idea. That's selling. Let's do that too.
Right.
Yeah, but no mac and cheese.
We got lasagna.
You got whole lasagna?
Yeah. I don't like lasagna personally.
What? What's wrong with lasagna?
It's been a while, so the hate is old and unused. But I feel like I like all the ingredients in other forms better. Like lasagna is just an inefficient way to eat all those ingredients. That's my opinion on that at the moment.
Okie doke. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's all I got. All right. So speaking of The Last of Us,
yeah,
you want to?
I do. I want to go.
Okay, go.
Okay, so my overarching feeling for the show is I really appreciate that they have kept the main emotional plot points of the game, like the big ones, like the stuff that I remember happening from me playing the game back in 2013, right? I don't remember everything about playing the game 10 years ago, but I remember very certain things that happened because holy crap, they were emotionally resident, right? So they kept all of that stuff. 2 thumbs up. And the stuff that they've changed, I think they've changed for the better for the most part. I think they have introduced some things that make the story interesting that don't change any of the themes or the relationships of the characters. And it's okay.
Okay.
2 things I'm concerned about is there are like hardly any zombies in this show. Like there have been 3 separate episodes and 7 episodes so far where there's not a single zombie. No one. And like I get it. One of the themes of the game was that like man is the real monster here, right? Because like roving bands of raiders and marauders are as dangerous to you as the zombies ever are.
Right, which is kind of the theme of like nearly every zombie show.
Yeah, it's not a new idea.
Right.
But they lean into that so heavily. And part of it is, we talked about this with episode 1. Like by the time Joel and Ellie get outside of the quarantine zone in Boston, Joel has killed like 27 people.
Right.
Because it's a video game.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really work for a TV show, right?
Yeah.
So they've really leaned into that. Like they haven't really done the whole this building is full of infected, we gotta sneak through it or bulldoze through it to get to the other side. Which I kind of wish they would do, because a lot of it is sneaking. So you're not being Rambo. You're not like standing in the doorway with 2 fully automatic machine guns mowing zombies down. Like you're smashing them with bricks or glass bottles and stabbing them in the head with your knife because that's all you got, you know? I just wish there'd been one of those. Or maybe more than one of those. Because they just haven't. Don't exist.
Right. Okay. So from what I remember of playing the game, there's a lot of like, we are Joel and Ellie. We're trying to get somewhere. We're traveling across huge portions of land.
Yes.
And that is where the gameplay is a lot of, sneak past zombies and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Joel and Ellie just not traveling?
They are. That's the other thing I was going to bring up is it's only 8 episodes, and I don't know if that's enough time to do everything that the game did.
I mean, there's they've confirmed there's going to be a second season, right?
Yeah, but I think that's Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, okay.
They're wrapping up Part 1 in this season, and they're getting to Salt Lake City next week, which is where the finale is in the game. So, I don't know. It feels a little rushed. They'll be like, okay, we're in Boston. Now we're in Kansas City, Missouri, which is like 800 miles away. And now we're in Wyoming, which is like 1,500 miles away. And it's just like, okay, so we are missing huge amounts of time these characters are spending together.
Right.
And in fairness, they are doing work to show us that Joel and Ellie's relationship is changing and evolving with all of the time they're spending together. So that's nice. Like Joel's much more willing to open up and share parts of his past with her, where he wasn't at all when they meet. Like he sees her as cargo when they first meet up.
Right.
Will not answer any of her questions at all. But then, after you walk 1,000 miles with someone, like who else are you going to talk to,
Right.
So So yeah, that is one thing. I don't know. I feel like 10 to 12 episodes would have done a better job with the story they're trying to tell. It feels a little bit rushed. But like I said, they're nailing all of the moments that I remember and that I think really matter to the story. And so I'm willing to forgive what they're not doing as well.
Yeah, no, that's like the key tenet of any adaptation is do it good, and it doesn't matter if you change things.
Right.
But
so I am glad they didn't change those big moments. Like, because under that theory, you can change that moment a lot. And if it's amazing, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But I'm glad that they kept those ones because they're what make the game. They're what made the game fantastic. Anyway. Yeah, it was great. And for this next week's episode, I just hope. I don't know. I hope they don't wimp out on the ending because. Yeah, like that's the thing. That's what.
Because like they need to hit all the memorable moments, and that is a memorable moment, and also like the key. It's not like calling it a twist makes it sound cheap, you know, where it's like Joel is this character who then just suddenly turns and like kills a bunch of people. It's like we already know he's willing to kill people, but like these are important now. These aren't just like the bad guys trying to stop you from getting where you are. These are doctors and, you know, scientists.
These are people who are trying to save the world.
Yeah. Yes.
And your inability to potentially lose another daughter is making you kill these generally good people. So that's and then lying to Ellie about it at the end. Like that's the thing. The two parts, Joel's rampage and then completely lying, bald-faced to Ellie when she asks what happened is like, woof. Okay. Yep. So those are the two things they need to nail. The rest of it, they can do whatever they want with. But yeah,
I think they'll nail it.
I want you
to be happy.
They've shown a lot of respect to the ones previously, so I think they will here too.
Good.
Yeah, it's great, and it's doing great. I think every episode's getting more viewers, which is always nice for these streaming shows. To show an increase week to week instead of like a decrease or just kind of a stagnant staying where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Good. So that's nice. Oh, you know what? I realized. So it's 8 episodes, but one of the episodes is dedicated to a Last of Us DLC they put out.
Oh, okay.
That's a prequel that kind of gives us some of Ellie's backstory that wasn't in the original game.
Oh, interesting.
So part of me is like, we only had 8 episodes, and you took one of those episodes away to do something that wasn't in the base game. Like, no wonder it doesn't feel like we spent enough time.
Yeah. Fair enough. On to other Pedro Pascal TV shows. Have you been watching The Mandalorian?
I did watch the first episode of the new season of The Mandalorian. Did you?
I have not, because was it the end of season 2 where Luke shows up and like takes Grogu away? Yeah,
that's so cool.
That was kind of cool. Yeah. I feel like I couldn't remember if that was the ending of season 2, and I wasn't prepared to go back and rewatch seasons 1 or 2 to figure out if I was caught up or not. Because I know that the Mandalorian showed up in the book of Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I was like, I didn't watch that. I don't feel like I'm caught up, and I kind of don't care.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very reasonable. So yeah. So what to this day, this is what I think happened. Book of Boba Fett was getting terrible ratings and terrible reviews because it was boring and they didn't know what they were doing, and they were trying to turn Boba Fett into this like morally good mayoral candidate character, and we're just like, what? This is not what I want.
Yeah, right. Where's the bounty hunter?
So they're like, how can we fix this show? If we inject some Grogu in here, people will watch it, and they did, and it was So I really think they took stuff they had shot for Mandalorian season 3 and just dumped it in the middle of Boba Fett. And as a result, that stuff's in Boba Fett now. So if you want to know, because season 3 starts and the Mandalorian and Grogu are together. So if you just watch, because that's what happens. Oh, did we not talk about this? Your face was like, what?
Yeah, well, you basically just said at the start of season 3, they magically undid all the stuff that happened at the very end of season 2.
Bingo! They sure did. So yeah, so in the Boba Fett episodes, Mando goes to visit Grogu, where Luke's training him.
Sure.
Okay. And blah, blah, blah. They have a talk, blah, blah, blah. The Mandalorian leaves. And then Luke is basically like, okay, little Grogu, you got to choose between being a Jedi and being with your friend, Mando. And I'm like, and everybody's like, what? That's a shit choice. What are you doing? Like, he can visit? Like, what are you talking about? But no, he's like, either you have to cut Mando out of your life and be a Jedi, or you never get to be a Jedi and you can live with Mando.
Just like how Luke cut out his friends and stayed with Yoda on Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back.
Right. Like, I don't understand. Here's what I think. I think they intended to have Grogu be training with Luke for a long time and have the Mandalorian do his own thing in season 3. But then they were like, test audiences hate the Mandalorian without Grogu in it. So crap, we gotta fix it. So they have Luke give this stupid, impossible choice that the character would never give, I don't think. And so Grogu chooses to go back to Mando. So Luke puts Grogu in his X-Wing with R2 and says, go find Mando. Zoom. It's the dumbest thing.
That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
I know. God.
And I assume it's entirely down to CGIing young Luke Skywalker is tricky and more expensive than they were willing to do on such short notice.
But also, I really think taking Grogu out of the show for any significant length of time was just like
suicide
for them, because people watch that show for Baby Yoda. They don't necessarily watch it for the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably some of both.
It's probably some of both. Like, I definitely get the appeal of like cute characters doing cute things is appealing broadly to a lot of people. Yeah, and like the memeability and that Grogu has is off the scale to some people.
Roof.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
So I get it, but
so here's my thing. They don't do anything to help you with that at the beginning of Mandalorian season 3.
No, nothing.
I was expecting like a flashback
wrap up
or like a conversation that's like Luke gave Grogu this choice and Grogu chose the Mandalorian. Cool. Like, they don't even say that. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They're just like, he's here. Rough. They're hanging out. It's great. It's like,
you know what really ticks me off about all of this? Andor shows that you can have a really great TV show without having like space magic Luke Skywalker or Grogu, right? You can totally could have had a Book of Boba Fett show and made it work with some great writing and done something interesting there. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'm not the writer for Disney. But you could have had a good show without having to quickly throw in all the shit from like Grogu. Quick throw Grogu on the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. You could have had a totally fine show. And then you could have had a totally fine season 3 of The Mandalorian, however that was supposed to work, without Grogu in it for a bit. But obviously he's a main character of the show, so you eventually get to the point where there's a reason for Grogu to go back to Mando, right? Rather than it just being like forced. So you had 2 shit shows now, and then you put out, you have 1 shit show, you put out a really good show, and then you go back and you're like, oh, well, here's the dregs of another show we wrote to try and save another show. That didn't really work, right? That's really annoying. The fact that they could have done it. Like, I think bounty hunting in Star Wars could have been good on its own for, like, The Mandalorian. Like, having have him do something. Like, I think there's something there he could have done by himself to like tide people over for half a season without them just getting bored. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've said this before, but they already had a bounty hunting show with the Mandalorian, and they're like, "Well, let's do Boba Fett." And it's like, "But we already have a bounty hunting show with the Mandalorian." Well, now he's the mayor of Tatooine. It's like, why? That's not what are we doing here? Just shelve it. Do something else.
I mean, you could have turned Boba Fett into like a, because when he sits down on that throne in Mandalorian season 2, I'm like, oh, he's gonna like open his own crime syndicate because he's like worked with Jabba. He knows how this works. He's just gonna try and seize power in these outer colonies that are hard to patrol. You know, where the laws, you know, are a little iffy on most places.
And that would have been cool.
And instead, he's like running for mayor. He's not just like enforcing
we
mayor.
Gotta take care of the poor people. It's like, what is going on?
Oh,
don't get it. So yeah, that's the thing. Is the Mandalorian is the Mandalorian. It's an okay written show. It's more about spectacle and cute baby Yoda and blaster fights and stuff. And we're not even going to try to approach the level of Andor because holy crap, we can't do that. Apparently, again, why not? I don't know. But yeah, that was my whole realization. Was I wasn't all that excited for the Mandalorian season 3 because Andor was so good, and it showed me what Star Wars can be instead of this kind of like fluff. Fine level with fine acting and okay writing, and
I think the issue is that they've tried to make a switch to TV shows. That Star Wars as a setting works way better when you have like an hour and a half movie and you don't have to like really dig down and think and like explain and spend time showing the universe, right? Like when you sit down in the movie, you can just be like assumed knowledge is sufficient for the background details. But when you have a TV show, you have a lot more time, you need people coming back, and so those background details need to be incredibly solid. And Andor may have just been lightning in a bottle for them. Like, it may have just been a flash of lightning, and they're trying to put it in the freaking bottle, but they can't.
Well, okay, they hired Tony Gilroy. They hired a legitimate, accomplished, award-winning screenwriter and director who has done stuff in Hollywood for 20 years and said, do some Star Wars for us. And he was like, okay. So he brought his skills to the Star Wars sandbox and toy box and did his thing. And it was awesome. And so The Mandalorian doesn't have Tony Gilroy. It doesn't have the writing and directing talent that show did. So that's your difference.
Right, but I think if The Mandalorian was a hour and a half movie, I think it would actually be pretty solid. Like, I think it wouldn't be great. I don't think it would be Empire Strikes Back or Rogue One, but I think it would be easily better than the sequels and easily better than the prequels.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Because you could trim a lot of fat there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there is a ton in the show. So yeah, the episode 1 was really just the Mandalorian flexing and being like, we are the Mandalorian. This is what we do. Here's a lot of cute Grogu stuff. Here's Mando being a badass. Here are some progressions of characters. Here is...
Did they...
a fun fight with a really big sea monster. Anyway, yeah.
Did they like hand wave or explain why the ex shock trooper is no longer in the show? The lady.
Yeah, they did. Cara Dune.
Cara Dune.
So yeah. Okay. So the other weird thing about The Mandalorian that I didn't know until I listened to a podcast about this a couple of days ago is Filoni. Who's the one? Filoni's the Star Wars guy.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Feige was also going to make a Star Wars movie, but I just saw on Twitter today that that's been canceled.
Right. So Filoni. So people are like, what's the timeline of The Mandalorian? And he says it's in real time.
Right.
So when there's 9 months between seasons, that's 9 months happening in the Mandalorian universe. And when we come back, it's been 9 months.
Right. I saw on Twitter that there was, I don't know if it was a tweet or just a screenshot, that someone said from Mandalorian season 1, like episode 1, to the start of Mandalorian season 3, episode 1, is less than a year, though, in Star Wars.
That's not what Filoni said. Because here's the thing. You remember the town that Mando went to and Grogu was like in a school and he ate that blue thing and like spit it back out? He like force pulled some blue cookie that he ate and then like puked it up on the Razor Crest later. Anyway, so we go to that town. We go to that same town in episode 3 or season 3, episode 1, and it's like this big sprawling metropolis. It's been a long time. So I don't buy that it's only been 9 months between season 1 and season 3. Not at all.
Right.
In universe, they're really trying to communicate to us that a lot of time has passed.
Right, right.
So they go to that town. They meet Grief Karga, who's Carl Weathers.
Okay.
And yeah, so he's like, I need a marshal. Be my marshal, Mando. And Mando's like, well, what about what's her face, Cara Dune? He's like, wow, after she captured Gus Fring.
Right. Yeah.
That's his name. After she captured Gus Fring, they put her in some special forces group. And I'm like, oh, okay, so she's gone. That's all they gave it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. They introduced a new Pirate King character, which is a little interesting. Like, they don't usually I guess, well...
The One Piece is real.
Yeah, right? So, I guess Moff Gideon was a series-long big bad.
For 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, a lot of the time, the bad guys in this show are one-offs, right?
Right.
But so they introduced this Pirate King guy. Like, these pirates come into town and they're making a mess, and Mando kills a bunch of them, and then they go running back to their Pirate King dad, and he's like, Mando, I'll get you. And it's like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Fair enough.
Yeah, apparently it was Jon Favreau who was talking about the timeline of Mandalorian.
Oh,
I'm seeing that on. I'm trying to find my sources, and I'm seeing someone say that it was Jon Favreau that was talking about it. But I can't find a link to the tweet or a screenshot or anything
about the timeline.
Yeah,
it was one of those guys. I don't remember who, but
yeah.
I mean, all I know is they are trying to communicate a lot of time has passed. So how much that is, no idea whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah. There's a cool space battle, and it's super annoying because these 6 pirate, small craft show up, and Mandalorian's in his stupid Naboo starfighter, which you can't live out of that thing.
Right.
But he still has it. He has to fight him because I guess he can't outrun them, whatever. So he fights him and kills him, and then gets kind of drawn into the big cap ship, like the big battle cruiser that the Pirate King is on. And it's like, oh crap, they have all their guns trained on us. What are we gonna do? And I'm like, yeah, what are you gonna do? That sucks. You couldn't outrun those fighters. You can't just jump up. And then he just jumps. It's like, so you could have done this the whole time. You just wanted to murder those pirates. I get that, but like, weird. It's got an instant hyperspace button, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Okay.
Blah, blah.
Yeah, okay. So, according to Favreau, 2 seasons, which began 5 years after the events of the third Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi, takes place over many years, but did not clarify exactly how long that period is.
Right. And I think that's very Star Wars of them to be like, it's a while. Please don't tie us down to a timeline. It's really hard to write around a timeline.
Yeah. Apparently, he said up to 2. Grogu was in training with Luke for up to 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they don't communicate very well. It's a problem because Mando never takes his helmet off, and Grogu ages incredibly slowly.
Yeah.
So really feels like it's been 5 minutes. Mando's like, I miss my buddy. I had to sleep one night without him. I better go visit him.
Right.
No.
My headcanon is that the reason why Grogu, regardless of whatever happens with his Jedi training, doesn't turn up in any of the sequel movies is because he's still a child, right? Like, my headcanon
He'll
is
be
that
an adult like 200 years after the events.
Exactly. Yoda's species is so slowly aging that he's just a child for like another 100 years.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who knows? Oh, they're also dragging more Rebels stuff into the Mandalorian.
Okay.
So they already brought Ahsoka Tano in. I guess she's Clone Wars and she's Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
But there are these space whales that were introduced in Rebels. That's
space whales
that can hyperspace, and effectively, the idea is that a long time ago, when humanity and aliens were figuring out hyperdrives, they studied these whales and figure out how to do it. And it's like, all right.
That's gross. Like I know like StarCraft does it with like Leviathan ships and whatnot. That like there are some giant creature that can travel between stars just like in the vacuum of space.
Right.
But I really don't like it, unless it is so big that it's like beyond planet sized of an organism, like a singular organism. I don't think you should have space whales that are just like, yeah, we're in the vacuum of space. There's no air here, but we're fine. I really don't like that.
Yeah. They're pretty big. I don't know.
Like, how big is pretty big? Like, I'm thinking it has to be like the Death Star, but 200 times as long, right? Like that kind of height, but just really long as well. It can't just be like a Star Destroyer. It needs to be something a Star Destroyer would dock at,
Yeah. They're called Purgles.
Purgles.
Yeah. Why can't I type? What happened to my keyboard? Come back. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So it says they can reach half the length of an Imperial class Star Destroyer. So pretty big, but not as big as you're talking.
StarWars.fandom.com/wiki/Purgle says average length 30 meters.
Oh.
So that's like 60 yards.
That are half the size of a ISD. Okay.
That's not big.
Nope, not big enough.
No.
Fair enough. Anyway, so there's just a scene where Grogu and Din are traveling in hyperspace, and there are these whales like alongside them. There's probably a screenshot of this online somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah.
98 feet long, right? It's not a big whale for something that's like, yeah, I live in a permanently freezing vacuum and I need oxygen. Your lungs are not big enough. I'm sorry.
Well, what if they live in hyperspace, though? Like, what is hyperspace?
That's not any better, I think.
Fair enough.
Because then you're asking what is hyperspace, and like again, I think if you get into the weeds in a TV show for Star Wars, you're doing it wrong.
Yep, because they don't have answers to any of those questions.
Exactly.
It's Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. In order to breathe, Purgle will need to inhale stores of a specific Vespene gas. No, Cluzon 36. When they're not provided with enough of the gas, their skin turns to gray to brown. Turns to a gray to brown. Okay. Apparently they need to turn this gas into a hypermatter fuel, and then they can jump. So they need to stop and eat, is what they're saying. And they get this gas somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From planets.
Sure.
Don't know.
But when they don't have enough, their skin turns grey, and it's barely an inconvenience.
Yeah. So at the end of Rebels, our budding young Jedi kid, whose name Ezra. Ezra is on Admiral Thrawn's ship, and Purgle's like grab the ship and hyperspace it away, which is something they can do. So they gone, and nobody knows where they are. But Thrawn is awesome, so I hope they bring him back.
That sounds real dumb.
It's Rebels. Rebels has a lot of dumb. Rebels also has the spinny helicopter lightsaber blade flying,
which I also hate.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
There's a reason I haven't watched Rebels. I know things about Rebels, but I have not watched Rebels.
I'm totally fine with Rebels existing because it's for kids, and kids can like just accept weird things as fine. Like when I watched Zoids or Dragon Ball as a kid, I didn't go, well, how come they can shoot lasers out of their hands? It's just like, it's fine, it's whatever.
Right.
And now I have a grown-ups just, hand wave that away. I'll still watch Dragon Balls. It's fine. But so for kids to have Star Wars and they put a bunch of dumb shit in Star Wars, I'm fine with it. But leave it there. Please.
Yeah, totally.
Please.
We'll see. We'll see what they do. Again, this is all the stuff they want to drag into at least the Mandalorian. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's the Mandalorian doing very Mandalorian things.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool too. One of the things they did that I thought was fun in the first episode is that for the first 2 seasons, Mando is looking for a Jedi to teach Grogu.
Right.
But now that he's got him back, he's teaching him how to be a Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
So he's very comfortable, like giving him insight into how space travel works and how to be prepared for different disasters, and never trust a pirate is one lesson he gives him. Sure. It's just a different change in their dynamic. I like it because he saw himself as a caretaker initially, and now I think he sees him as like a teacher.
Right, because that's the Mandalorian thing that we found out about them, is that like they're not like a singular race of people, but they take in people and train them in like this cult monk ways, essentially.
Right. And so a lot of that has to do with space travel and being migratory and bounty hunting and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So I can definitely see the shift of like, well, the Mandalorian thought of himself as like a chauffeur to get this kid somewhere and didn't know where, and was kind of like wandering around looking for where he's supposed to be. But now that he's got him back, and it's like, well, this is a permanent thing. You're just like a Mandalorian now, kid.
Right.
I can totally see that. Yeah.
Welcome to the crew.
Yep.
Totally.
It's not all bad. It's not all bad.
Yeah, it's a change of the dynamic between the characters, which is good.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Oh, Barry's season, the final season of Barry was announced.
Barry.
I'm really excited about. I like Barry a lot.
Barry.
Talked about Barry. HBO show with.
I don't believe I've seen it because it's on HBO and I don't have HBO.
Yeah. So Bill Hader, right?
Yep.
Bottom line, he was a sniper in the Middle East for the U.S. military, and he comes home and he doesn't know what to do with himself. Like, he's completely lost. And one of his former military commanders has retired and basically starts using him as a hitman.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, you've always been an amazing shot, so here, let me give you some work. And Barry's like, okay.
He's just okay with it. Okay.
Yeah, because he's got all this PTSD. He's totally messed up. Like, he's just not doing super well. So yeah, so the story is just Barry doing all that and also kind of like meeting new people and kind of starting to be a human again, but all the stuff that he's done is kind of coming back to bite him. And the best way he knows to deal with problems is basically kill people, which doesn't necessarily always work out the best in the long run.
Right.
So yeah, it's really good performances. It's dark comedy, funny, really intense stuff too. And I'm glad they're wrapping it up as well. HBO is pretty good at that. They're usually okay about being like, all right, there's a story to tell here. Let's get it out and we'll move on to the next cool story.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Whenever that's supposed to come out, I don't know.
Eventually.
Coming soon, it says.
Yes. Coming soon. Oh, I think that's about it. You have more.
It is. No. Oh, so my sister's been watching The Last of Us. And she didn't play the game, and this isn't really her thing. But yeah, so she'll text me in the middle of the episodes and just be like, what does she say? Joel got stabbed. No. And she's learning over the course of this show. She's like, it's been 35 minutes and nothing bad has happened yet. What is going to happen?
Something's coming.
Something's coming. Like, you have learned well. Yes.
That's great. I really hope for season 2, if it is just based on part 2, that they open with the inciting incident. I'll say that. Not spoil everyone.
Holy crap. Just like
skip straight to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that'll knock people off their feet. If people who haven't played the game are like, oh my god, Joel got stabbed, this can't be happening. Right? Like
yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be great. I would be down for that.
Just kind of get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Really shock people.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to do it.
They got to do it.
It's Ellie's story. It's not Joel's story.
It's true. That's true.
Fair. All right, cool. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Awesome. Oh, Steve the SCV shirt is out.
That's true. Steve the SCV shirt is out.
So check out falconpaladin.store for Steve the SCV and Terry the Overlord shirts, as well as other stuff like nice warm beanies to wear in the cold, or just a nice t-shirt to wear if it's blazing hot outside, if you happen to be in the Southern Hemisphere at the moment.
True facts.
Yeah. Also, you can support the podcast directly at patreon.com/Somicron, and these things are posted to YouTube as well. Under why do I always blank on this? It's just Somicron, right?
Yeah, it's just at Somicron. I got the @ handle now. Everyone's got the @ handle because they've adopted it. But before that, it was a different name. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't get confused. I know why.
So it's youtube.com/@Somicron.
Yeah.
Although I'm old school enough that I'm just youtube.com/FalconPaladin. So
I mean, I can still get that. I can still get that, but you gotta be like 1,000 subscribers and like 1,000 watch hours and stuff, and then they're like, yeah, okay, now you can have it.
I don't know why they didn't just do that for everyone. If we're gonna give people handles, just let them have /name. Why is it /@?
They did for a while. That's why. Okay, so do you remember what the other name that you're getting confused with for my vanity URL? Yeah, that they just gave me that because when I signed up, that's what my account name was or something. And eventually, I moved away from it and changed it. But the vanity URL sticks around, even though they then changed the conditions of the vanity URL, which I don't meet, which means I can't change it.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Why are they so dumb? Stop being dumb.
Yeah, it's Google. What do you expect?
Yeah, fair. Too big to be effective at anything.
Yep. All right.
All right, sweet. So again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.
Next week will be slightly earlier because of daylight savings.
Daylight savings is a thing.
Yeah. I don't think it'll change for you if you're in the US, but in Australia it'll be 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's an hour earlier.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Blah. All right, cool. So again, thanks everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Stay safe and stay healthy, and goodbye.
Bye.